smell it in the air. I'm smelling a distinct sense of playoff football entering into the weekend. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Masks Off NFL podcast. With here, as usual, it's the kid, Theo, a.k.a. the fuck Prince of Narnia, a.k.a. Sergeant Underpants. With my brother,
Sergeant.
Squiggles, Derek. How you doing, my friend?
I thought you were going to say Nathan.
Well, we're getting there. I wanted to talk to my one brother first, and then we'll get to the other brother.
Yeah, we're doing good. Fucking, it's playoff babies. Let's fucking get it, dude. I'm ready. I ain't got shit to like. I'm hoping, I'm hoping Saturday 3:00. I know who we're playing. That's all I gotta say because I'm looking for the upset. But before we get into that, otherwise doing good. I get thrown into the real world Monday, starting my job. Fucking laptop's coming in tomorrow. Pretty pumped. So,
and joining us for this special Wildcard playoff special edition episode is my true brother, coming to us from Long Island, New York. Nathan, how are you doing? Please introduce yourself to the people.
I'm not so bad. I'm Nathan Bischoff. Obviously, I'm repping the Chicago Bears. It's been kind of tough, but it's fun sometimes.
I mean, yeah.
I'm a music education major at the University of Delaware. And as a Bears fan, the prospect of a potential Mahomes-Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl is my personal hell.
Honestly, I that's one thing I'm actually really hoping for because, you know, like, Aaron Rodgers is my boy. Like, I love Aaron Rodgers. And also, 10 other people would ever pass up on Mahomes. One was the Bears. They drafted Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, what? I hadn't heard.
So, yeah, it's going to be fucking awesome if that happens. I'm actually looking forward to it. So, yeah.
Well, with that, let's jump straight into the preview of the wild card games. And the first one is a very interesting AFC matchup between the 7th seed Indianapolis Colts and the 2nd seed Buffalo Bills. I think this is actually one of the low-key best games of the week. The Colts have had a solid defense all year long, and and very recently, they've started picking up the run game with Jonathan Taylor blowing up onto the scene. So I'll pass this one to Derek first. What do you think about this Colts-Bills matchup?
I was saying before, man, I'm very excited. I think this Colts team is built to beat the Bills team. It may not be built to go all the way, but it's built to stop these high-powered offenses. And the best way to do that is to keep them off the field with a strong run game, like you just said. Jonathan Taylor ran for 253 last week on fucking, 22 carries or some shit? 253, dude fucking lighting it up, playing like he had something to prove, and it's gonna be a fucking great day Saturday. I can't wait. I don't know, man. I think this is the Bills. The Bills can't fuck it up. That's like the thing that they just keep doing what they've been doing these past fucking 3 weeks. Like they've been lighting it up. The Bills could easily just take this game and fucking go with it because they did beat Miami handily last week, and Miami's a top 5 defense in the league. Like they were a really good defense. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see. Let's hope that the old Bills Mafia doesn't get back to the 1990s Bills. Like you don't want the 90s Bills, playoff Bills to come out. Mm-hmm. I guess you do though, the way like just not like the end, like
not the Super Bowl.
Yeah, not the Super Bowl, but you know. So that's my take on it. I think it's gonna be a really good game. It's gonna be Jonathan Taylor versus their defense, and I think Phillip Rivers is gonna sling it when he needs to. Because you gotta remember, Phillip Rivers has not played well. Like he's not a playoff. Like he just doesn't play that well in the playoffs. Like he kind of shats the bed sometimes. Like so, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Been fantastic this season.
I mean, but he hasn't been fantastic, but like he's been good enough. Like he's a fucking 38-year-old. He's not like, I mean, obviously you got the Aaron Rodgers of the world that are he's gonna win the MVP, and he's 36 years old. And then you have like Phillip Rivers who's like 39. Obviously, they're very similar in age, but like Phillip Rivers doesn't need to do that much because their defense is astounding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nathan, thoughts on Colts Bills?
Yeah. The Colts are a defensive team. They're a hard-nosed team, and that's pretty refreshing to see, given all the high power spread, crazy offenses. So, it's exciting to have someone who's going to come and smash you. it really might not matter because Josh Allen's playing out of his mind. He's played as well as any other quarterback down the stretch run of the season. And I looked this up today. The Buffalo Bills have the 17th ranked rushing defense. So the Colts' best hope is for Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines, who are really, really good thunder and lightning kind of combination. You got to have a big day from them. Keep Josh Allen off the field. Keep the defense fresh. Let him make plays.
Yeah,
I agree with all that. I actually feel like this is an upset alert right here. As you said, Josh Allen has been playing nice all year, and I can't deny that at all. He's looked very good, both passing and running the ball. I just know that when I watched Josh Allen in the playoffs last year, he looked completely ridiculous. And obviously things have changed between last year and this year where he might be able to handle himself a little bit more, but I would not feel comfortable betting on the Bills. I think this is a potential choke / upset alert. I could see the Colts taking this one pretty. I feel comfortable saying I could see the Colts take this.
Yeah,
one.
that's the weird thing. Like even though the Bills have started 13-3, it's like they're playing everybody in the AFC. There's nobody. Everybody was at least 11-5. In the AFC. So there's no really bad team. Even though it's the new 7th seed, it's weird that there's no bad team because we were all expecting some, like the Bears this year. I'm not trying to throw shade at the Bears, but like the Bears this year, 8-8 team. We all thought that like they're on both sides. There's going to be an 8-8 team, maybe even like a 9-7 team that's going to make it into the playoffs. But like the AFC stacked and
He's been tight,
and it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm very excited. And we speaking on what you said about Josh Allen in the playoffs. There's another team in the AFC that we're going to get to that needs to show up in the playoffs because they have not.
Well, also, you talk about Josh Allen in the playoffs last year, but this year he's been able to say, when in doubt, go find 14. And
best number 2 receiver in the league.
Best number 2 in
oh
the
my
league.
God, man. Oh,
yes, so to be able to say Stephon Diggs is out there somewhere and chuck it up, that's going to help a lot. And you won't have to throw any
I think they're
laterals.
No, I think they're getting the number 1 back. I think John Brown's back. He was back last week.
Shit.
So like
that's gonna be huge for the Bills.
Yeah.
He's their most explosive weapon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, John Brown easily wide receiver 1. Like
John Brown, he led the league in receptions and receiving yards, right?
No. It was Stephon Diggs. That did. And I think if I remember right, John Brown was on IR for like 10 weeks.
That sounds more like John Brown.
And like I say all the time, it's hard to be the best when you're not on the field. So
George Kittle.
Your best ability is availability.
That's right. Consistency is key. So, anyways, I think we're all in agreement though. This is a huge upset alert. And I'm all for it.
That being said, the Bills could still come out and win it by 30.
No, yeah, it all comes out. It comes down to what Josh Allen you get though. That's the problem because we've had Josh Allen. He started hot. He started 5-0, and then next thing you know, he just starts shitting the bed. Looks like he's fucking Josh Allen of rookie season. Yeah, and then he's picking it back up. He's just so streaky. Let's just hope that hot streak didn't end last week. That's all you can hope for.
Yep.
So it is. They are not lucky enough to have a team that doesn't like the cold because the Colts are obviously in Indiana. Like it's cold there. Like if that was Miami, I would say easily this is the Bills. Like easily the Bills win it. But like the fact this isn't a cold team because that always is a factor in the playoffs.
We're gonna move on here and make sure we have enough time to talk about all these games. And this next game we're talking about is one of the 2 divisional matchups that we're going to see over this Super Wildcard weekend. The 6 seed Los Angeles Rams and the 3 seed Seattle Seahawks are facing off this Saturday. And I mean, anytime divisional teams face off, I mean, that's must-watch football. And then with the season on the line like this, I mean, I think this is going to be an absolutely incredible game. I think it's huge if Jared Goff doesn't play. I keep seeing that he's questionable. He fucked up his thumb a little while ago. I really think that this is Seattle's game to lose. They need to come out and play good on both sides of the ball, prove to the NFL, prove to the fans that they are actually like a legitimate contender and not just a high-powered offense with a questionable defense. I do think that Seattle takes this. I would say Seattle. I would feel comfortable about Seattle taking this with or without Jared Goff. Uh, they once they put it together, I think they're as good as any team in football. Russell Wilson has established playoff success, cultured defense, even though it doesn't always hold up, reliable run game. I think once again, I think Seattle's just been the perfect package. So I would take the Seahawks over the Rams. Looking forward to the divisional matchup. Nathan, how do you feel about this NFC West smackdown?
Well, these have been two of the most confusing up and down teams that we've seen, because we see the Seattle Seahawks explode here and there and then have a bunch of clunkers. The Rams handled the Bucks and then lost to the Jets. So we're going to see which version of both teams. And the past couple of weeks, Russell Wilson has not been cooking. The offense has been bad, and the defense has been playing pretty well, especially by the standard that they've set this year. So if they can put both sides together, they can play with anybody. But if one side of the ball shits the bed, then the Rams are a well-coached team. They'll be able to take advantage of that. Both quarterbacks have won in the playoffs. I think obviously you're going to be looking at Jalen Ramsey and DK Metcalf,
who got shut down.
Yeah,
shut down by Jalen Ramsey. Just saying.
I think Jalen Ramsey's going to do a number on him. I don't know, man. I think I got the Rams winning this one. And I think it's a lot less likely without Jared Goff, but it's not impossible for them to come and pull one out against the Seahawks with John Wolford.
So, I want to say this. John Wolford, he looked damn good, though. He did look damn good.
Didn't look bad.
For being a guy that was just a finance guy, and then he goes, we all know that story. So, I think, homie? No? Oh, sorry guys, intermission. Seahawks though, they were a team that, like, it was so weird because, like, Russell Wilson comes out, MVP, week 8, whatever, and then he just starts losing. Like, he lost like 2 out of 3 games or something like that. Like, he lost to the Cardinals. I think it was the Cardinals. I can't remember. It was that Thriller. But like, it's just, I honestly don't know. Dude, the Seahawks need to figure it the fuck out, because they've been so streaky over the past few weeks. And it's the Rams, like you said, Nathan. They're a team that will take advantage of whatever weaknesses you have that day. Like they'll game plan for a certain, like Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf. But if they see something showing that day that's just not working, they're gonna exploit it. John McVay's not an idiot. They're gonna do what they can. And fucking Jared Goff's in there slinging to fucking the Cooper Kupp stud, and then Robert Woods, and then they had the fucking linebackers Higbee and fucking Everett with the fucking new Josh Reynolds. Like, holy shit! Like, they're just fucking like they're actually kind of loaded for the most part. Like their playmakers make plays. And
don't forget about the running backs over there.
Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, fucking
Brown,
Malcolm Brown. They're a team that their defense, you can rely on their defense to make the plays, and their offense to capitalize on those plays. They're very explosive. It's going to be a really close game. I think the Seahawks bite it out, nail biter, but it's going to be insane. Jalen Ramsey is there to DK Metcalf is going to be 0 for 3 against Jalen Ramsey. I think it's going to be a fucking Tyler Lockett day for them to be successful. And the ground game. I think the ground game, because that's something they really haven't had. If they get the ground running, they're going to be, the Seahawks could win. I think they will win if that all comes together.
Absolutely. Staying with the NFC theme here, another very intriguing. I'm just gonna let you know, Derek and Nathan, and let the viewers know. I'm going to say it's a very intriguing matchup every single time we talk about a new game, because I truly am very intrigued by every single matchup that's going on. I think this is going to be a hell of a week of football. 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday.
Less up.
That being said, very intriguing matchup between the 5th seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the 4th seed Washington football team. How did we get here? I'll tell you why. Chase Young, Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio. That's how we got here. The Washington football team defense, I've been saying it since I think week 3. The Washington football defense is hands down the most impressive unit in the NFC East right now. I think that the Washington football team defense is going to shine. It's going to be kind of a coming out party for them on a grand stage. Obviously, the Bucks, they're pretty good themselves. They have a very strong offense. They have a very tight defense as well, some big defensive playmakers. But I really can only see the Washington football team pass rush getting home on Tom Brady time after time after time. That's just how I see it going, to be honest. I think the Washington football team is in a perfect position to shock the world and knock the Bucks out, who have had so much hype in the offseason, knock them out Wildcard weekend. I want to call it an upset just because of the storylines, but the football team is actually seated higher than the Bucks. So who knows? Derek, any thoughts on the F words and Tampa Bay?
I am intrigued. So there's a stat, I'm trying to pull it up. I believe Tom Brady is 1-3 against the NFC East in the playoffs, which obviously are 2-2 lifetime. Ron Rivera versus Tom Brady, 2-2 lifetime, 2-0 as a head coach. So Tom Brady struggles against Ron Rivera, I guess, too. But I believe also the thing is that every team that came in with the quote unquote losing record into the playoffs, the Texans and then the Seahawks or whatever it was, they all got to win the wild card weekend.
Panthers did it that one year too.
The Panthers, that's who it was. The Panthers, they all won wild card weekend. So maybe it's Tom Brady rewriting the books like he usually does. Here it is. Tom Brady is 1-3 versus the NFC East. The last 3 teams with the losing records going into the playoffs won their first game. The odds are against Washington, but they're a very good defense. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see. I think Tom Brady, Tom Brady, like he's planning to get the ball out in fucking half a second. There's going to be very few plays that develop, because the pass rush is so outstanding, and up there in Washington, over there, whatever. So I think it's going to be a close game, very close, very very close. Mike Evans isn't going to be 100%, but don't worry because you also have Chris Godwin, fucking Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller, Gronk. So it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be close. I do see this as an upset too, though. I think the Bucks are gonna lose. I don't think it's gonna be Tom Brady that loses. Like Tom Brady usually does his thing, but I think it's gonna be the Bucks. The defense maybe doesn't step up something, and it's gonna fall apart for the Bucks.
And before I turn it over to Nathan, because I am interested in what you have to say, I just like that Derek couldn't say Scotty Miller's name without laughing.
Well,
that made me smile. Nathan, thoughts on F words Bucks?
Well, Derek talked about Tom Brady struggling against Ron Rivera, but what it's common knowledge that Tom Brady really struggles against is a really strong pass rush. For me, this game brings me back to, I think, 2015, going into Super Bowl 50, the AFC Championship game. You've got Tom Brady and the Patriots against half-dead Peyton Manning and the Broncos. And what happened on that day was DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller threw a party in the Patriots backfield, and they couldn't do a damn thing with them. And we know Bruce Arians, he likes to chuck it all around, no risk it, no biscuit. So he's going to want to throw it downfield on this defense. But they've got 5 first-round picks on the defensive line.
What did you just say? No risk it, no biscuit?
No risk it, no biscuit.
That's stupid.
That's
You're
the Bruce
stupid.
Arians.
That was awesome.
You got to risk it for the biscuit.
Same shit.
That's what he just said.
No, we
Chase
didn't.
Young can start building his legend by coming out and having a Von Miller type impact on this game and beating the shit out of that old man in the backfield. The other thing I'm looking at is the other sides of the ball, which no one's really talking about, is how close is Alex Smith to 100%? Ron Rivera's out here spouting off about we might do a 2 QB rotation. That shit's not going to work. So Alex Smith just struggled to put up 17 points against the Philadelphia Eagles. Against Todd Bowles' Tampa Bay Bucks defense, you're going to need more than that. The defense might step up, but if the offense can't put the ball in the end zone, it's not going to matter.
That's a good point. The football team has shown all year that they're really the best. They're only really functional when Alex Smith is at the helm. So
Yeah.
if we get half of Alex Smith or something, like the game is pretty much going to be on his shoulders alone on that side of the ball.
Well, that's the
Look for
problem.
a heavy dose Antonio Gibson.
That was the problem with Alex Smith, though, especially in Kansas City and even in San Francisco, that he was a game manager and that he didn't know how to fucking play fast. I don't know what you want to call it. Like, he didn't know how to fucking do 2-minute drills. He was just too like you want, if Alex Smith's in the lead going into the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, you know, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. But if they're down 2 scores going into the fourth quarter, even 10 points, you know, well, that's still 2 scores, but you know what I mean. But you know, whatever it may be, it's probably not going to look good because unless you get the magic from that defense is known to scoop and score at times.
And Alex Smith is basically playing on half a leg with that huge injury and then the calf issue he's been dealing with.
Is it the same leg too? It's the same leg, I believe, right? No,
I don't think it is the same leg. So he's got 2 fucked up legs.
Ugh.
Yeah, he's not running around like he used to, which was a pretty underrated part of his game.
Word. I'm gonna say it again. Very intriguing matchup coming in the last AFC. Nope, not the last AFC game. My apologies. A playoff rematch from last year when the 5th seed Baltimore Ravens take on the 4th seed Tennessee Titans. And to be brutally honest, just copy and paste the same game from last year. I don't see it being different. I think the Ravens are worse than they were last year, both on offense and defense. Titans, I mean, Derrick Henry's on the field, so you know where the ball is going and you're not going to be able to stop it. Titans win. Short and sweet.
DH2K.
Anything thought on Titans Ravens?
I don't think we're seeing the same Baltimore team as we saw last year because in the offseason you saw they went out and they added Derek Wolfe and Calais Campbell to plug up the middle because they saw that they got gashed by Derrick Henry in the playoffs and they don't want a repeat performance. I think we're going to get what we're going to get from Lamar Jackson. He's going to have some fun, exciting plays. He's going to miss some throws. But I think the difference in this game is defense. Who's going to be able to stop the run more? Because obviously that's the strength of both sides. And the Titans haven't been able to stop a runny nose this season. I think this is definitely the juiciest game of the week. You're going to see some smash mouth football. You're going to see some guys get the shit beat out of them. Very exciting stuff.
Hell yeah. Well, ironically enough, Calais Campbell did not practice. So.
Well,
and Yannick is limited practice. I'm just looking at the injury report real quick. Marlon Humphrey did not practice. He was
corners in for this one.
He was limited this week though. So, limited today. So that's good. Calais Campbell wasn't even seen, so maybe this was a veteran day for him. Maybe because he doesn't have anything on the Thursday report. But he did not practice yesterday. So regardless. Yeah, dude, I think this is Lamar or bust. Because if Lamar doesn't win this game, he is going to be known as the quarterback to choke in the playoffs. No matter how good you are, you're going to choke. So, and I think it's going to be interesting to see Lamar Jackson. I hope. Once again, I always say this. I want him to be able to win a game passing the ball. If they go down early, like he's been looking good last few weeks, though. Last few weeks he's been throwing some dimes. But we'll see how it goes. J.K. Dobbins has been stepping up pretty nicely. I don't know. I still think Titans win this. I think Titans win this. Very close game. But you get into the fourth quarter, you try and tackle fucking 22 and you can't. It's going to be very hard. So the Ravens need to be up in the fourth quarter to have any chance because as we saw last week, Derrick Henry put up like 150 in the second half last week. So I think it's gonna be interesting, especially looking how for the AJ Brown didn't practice today. Dory Jackson, they have a lot of fucking injury reports. Maybe Derrick Henry limited, but I think it says not injury related. Probably
he's fine.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be close. I like to see what Ryan Tannehill can do. I really do. You guys know Theo. You know how I feel about Ryan Tannehill. He's very wishy-washy for me. But he's looking good. I don't know. I think it's like Theo said, the same outcome last week. I think the Titans go get it done. So
I just want to say one thing on Lamar Jackson, just for all of us to keep in mind.
Mhm.
He is younger than Joe Burrow.
okay.
And the first time he lost a playoff game, he had started like 8
Mhm.
games in that season. You look at a lot of quarterbacks, like Peyton Manning started off as a choker in the playoffs, and he ended up with 2 rings.
Mhm.
So there's plenty of time for Lamar Jackson to figure it out. Maybe less because he's a mobile quarterback, but he is young. He's still figuring it out. He's well coached. He's a great work ethic, good guy. I think even if he loses this weekend, I'm not totally out on Lamar Jackson.
That's fair. No, that's
Well
fair.
said, Nathan.
That's
Very
fair.
well put.
I like that. Yeah, that is very good. Yeah. Cool.
It's that time, fellas. I know you were waiting for it.
I'm waiting for it.
The 7th seed Chicago Bears somehow, some way squeaked into the playoffs, thanks to John Wolford. Going up against the number 2 seed New Orleans Saints. Maybe Drew Brees' last ride. This could potentially be Drew Brees' last playoff game. Very crazy stuff.
It's looking like it is. Like, there's a lot of reports saying that like this is going to be his last ride with the Saints. Like,
there are a lot of reports that he's looked old as fuck for years too.
Well, I mean,
true.
ask his fucking ribs that like happen to just break more after the days go on. Like, how do you go from a 2-rib injury to an 11-rib injury in 3 days?
I don't know.
You're made
I
of
don't know
dust.
how it was.
That's why.
I don't know how it's possible that he broke 35 ribs, but I mean, he's still out here. So hey,
He came back in 5 weeks too. Sorry.
I'm gonna make my take on this game very short and sweet. The only chance the Bears have to win this game is through the run game. If it's not David Montgomery, it's simply not happening. And I don't see the Saints' run defense giving it up against the Chicago Bears. I'm going Saints win. I'm gonna let you two figure out what you need to figure out.
You guys, yeah. Let go.
I'm just gonna step out of the way here and let this happen.
All right, I'd like to start off here, if I may.
Your thing.
You said the Bears' run game is what could win this for them. I agree with you, but you said it's David Montgomery or nothing. When you're talking about the Bears' run game, I'm looking for Mitchell Trubisky to get 10 to 15 carries this week. I think he's out with the Bears. This is Mitch Trubisky's last ride for sure. We've got 2 quarterbacks who are on last ride status here. So run the shit out of that guy. I don't care. Let's do design quarterback runs, powers. Let's get him going. These 2 teams played already, and this was the most futile display of offensive football that I've ever seen. This is when the Bears got hit with a delay of game false start combo. This is when Javon Wims decided to go punch Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the face mid-play, and the Bears defense played out of their minds and took it to overtime. They were making stop after stop after stop. Here's the thing. The past couple weeks, the Bears defense has been nowhere to be found. Eddie Jackson's got 1 pick on the year. Kyle Fuller's been quiet. I could have sworn we had Khalil Mack on our team. Akeem Hicks gets hit with 2 personal fouls a game. They've got to all come out and play the game of their life. We need great Mitch. We need great David. We need great A-Rob. And we need the whole defense to go rediscover that form that put them on the map a couple years ago. But we also don't have Roquan Smith. So it's tough. I think this is a get-right game for the Saints. I think they probably end up winning big. They got to build some playoff confidence after 3 consecutive years of really, really devastating exits.
I mean, am I good now?
Go ahead,
Griggs.
All right. I think, dude. Honestly, you said it well. Honestly, but I still agree. Because I've been saying like over the past 4 games, what has been working? The run game. The run game. If the run game doesn't work, you have no chance. You know, that's that. We can all agree with that. But at the same time, you got to realize the teams that you played to get into the playoffs these last 4 weeks sucked.
They were not good.
You play a Packers team and you get destroyed. No, I'm not trying to talk crap or anything, but I'm just being honest. Like you guys got to be able to win. Like you guys got to be able to play playoff teams and beat playoff teams. Like that's how you win. And you didn't really beat much, but I think it could happen. I see that Darnell Mooney, he did not practice. He had a really
Darnell Mooney got like killed.
Yeah, but I say he had a horrible hit. But
yeah,
and then you have
good.
Cordell Patterson doing God knows what on a personal week off. He did not practice yesterday or today for personal reasons. It's playoff season, dude. Like what the fuck? So that right there gets me going. So and for the injury report on the New Orleans Saints, it's looking pretty good. Trey Hendrickson didn't practice today. Nick Eason didn't practice, but for the most part, they look healthy. You guys look a little banged up, but most full participants, which is good. Allen Robinson did not practice today. Probably a Veterans Day, because he was full participant yesterday. But regardless, I think you guys need to figure it the fuck out. You guys need to be the Bears defense in 1995, which you always fucking reminisce about, and step the fuck up on defense, because that's another thing, is that you guys, once again, like you said, where's Khalil Mack? He hasn't been there. You better hope Akeem Hicks can play, because like I said, if Akeem Hicks is what stops the run. When we saw
that defense.
We saw when he went out, was it against the Lions? Or was it against
it was against the Vikings.
The Vikings. No.
Dalvin Cook bottled up.
Yeah, and then he goes out. He he is the key to that run game, to stopping the run game.
They missed Goldman bad.
Yeah, they do. They really do. But it's gonna be interesting to see. I think the Saints do win it. They get Alvin Kamara back from COVID. They get all the running backs from COVID. I think Michael Thomas is back. Not 100% sure.
Who knows with that guy?
What?
Who knows with Michael Thomas anymore?
So I think this is going to be a really not a close game. I think the Bears come out and kind of, teeter tatter with the Saints, and then the Saints just second half adjustments. Saints come out and just go out and just destroy.
I think it's close for a half, and then it's gone.
Yeah. And it sucks to say it, because I mean, you were 5-1, and then you barely make a 7th seed at 8-8. Kind of.
Yeah. I like Matt Nagy to keep his job because the team kept fighting, but a lot of other guys got to go.
I don't know about that. I think there needs to be a whole organizational change at this point. Personally.
Well, let's move on from this point. I just wanted to say one more thing actually about the Bears. While looking up that Cordero Patterson thing, I just saw that Khalil Mack was named first team All-Pro.
It's a name game. It's a name
That's
game.
a name game. All you could say about
I'm surprised Gronk wasn't.
Last matchup of the wild card weekend. Again, I'm going to say it's very intriguing, but I'm truly going to throw my support behind this one. It's the second divisional matchup of the weekend. I think this is the game to watch. It's either going to be a huge Browns upset or the Steelers finally figuring it out. Browns is the 6 seed, Steelers is the 3 seed. I'm going Browns somehow. I didn't think that it would come to this, but I mean, looking at trajectory the last couple of weeks, the Browns just beat the Steelers. That run game, we've been talking about it literally all year, and the Steelers are questionable at best lately. So, moving quickly here, let's talk to Nathan. Brown Steelers.
Oh, real quick. Speaking of this, we can go a little bit over. It's fine. We can just restart. We're good. So if we're fine.
Okay.
The Browns obviously lost their head coach, and that's tough, but I think the Steelers are absolutely on upset alert. One thing I'm looking at, though, is the Browns and the Steelers played last week, and the Browns won by 2, and the Steelers played their backups the whole game. So the Steelers are probably walking into this one feeling all right, but we know the Steelers, when they're feeling all right, is when they fuck up. I think the Browns want to make this an ugly physical game with their 2 outstanding backs, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are kind of a finesse team this year, which is weird. So I think if they make this an ugly physical game, that favors the Browns by a lot. So put the Steelers firmly on upset alert.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens, because I think as of right now, Stefanski is not going to be able to coach that game because of COVID. So that's going to be interesting to see. Who knows how much that's really going to change, because I think the OC is going to be the one calling it anyway. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. I want to say the Browns win it. I really do, because I did say earlier in the season that the Steelers, obviously, they were good. They were 11-0, 10-0. Props to them. I did say that I did have questions about their offense, and their defense played really well. Their defense has been keeping them in the games. And
been getting banged up.
Yeah, it really has. So I've had questions about their offense all season. But I don't know, dude. I think this is the biggest toss-up of the week. I think this could go one bad bounce of the ball. It could be a pick six. It could be, whatever it may be. One bad bounce in the game, and it could fall into the favor of the other team. So I'm very intrigued to see how it happens. I really don't. I want to say the Browns win it, because I don't think the Steelers. I just don't think the Steelers can, like you said, match that physicalness, match the physicality of the Browns. And the Browns have something to play for this year. Fucking 17 years, 18 years If they fucking been to the playoffs, they have something to fucking play for. They don't want to give. They don't want to be one and done. They're ready. They're coming to play. So let's see what happens.
I think the Steelers win it. I think this is their last chance to get their passing game on track and right before they go start facing the heavyweights with Buffalo and Kansas City. So, if they come out and they're ugly this week, even if they win, they're done. They got to get it right.
No, yeah. Even if the Steelers do win, it's just really going to be really hard to say that they're going to make it deep. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting.
I low-key forgot Kevin Stefanski wasn't going to be there.
I don't know how much that's going to factor it in, though, to be completely honest, because
he calls plays.
He does call plays, but you have the OC that's, I don't know, who's the OC there? I forgot what his name was. Browns offensive coordinator is Alex Van Pelt, and I believe he's going to be the one to call the plays. So at least it's it's not the fucking defense. Obviously, like usually they have the player. So he knows the offense. He knows how to run it. He knows what Stefanski hired him there for a reason. So what, Theo? What?
Nothing.
I'm so confused. So I don't think it's gonna be that big of a factor. I think there's going to be a few things like maybe it's do we go for it on fourth down here? Stefanski usually does. Maybe Van Pelt doesn't. I think that's going to be what could change the games is how Van Pelt attacks these quote unquote analytic situations. So we'll see.
All right, should we start a new session?
Yes. And
all right. Good one. Cute little preview of the wild card round there. Let's look a little bit ahead into the divisional round, throw around some hypotheticals here. The last question we have to talk about here is who's the biggest threat to the 1 seeds as the Green Bay Packers in the NFC and those pesky old Kansas City Chiefs over in the AFC. Before I pass it to you guys, let me throw out what I'm thinking. I think it's a lot easy. No, I don't know. Fuck that. I like the Seattle Seahawks going up against the Packers. I think that would be a great NFC championship. Let alone, ignore how the teams are looking right now. We don't even need to talk about that. It seems that whenever the Packers and the Seahawks play each other, whether it's postseason or regular season, but especially in the postseason, there's just football magic that happens. Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are simply, to put it simply, 2 of the top 5 guys in the game right now, and there's no doubt. I think the Seahawks are the biggest threat to the Packers, partly because of that, partly because of all the guys we talked about before on the Seattle team. Yeah, that's basically it. Is in terms of the AFC going up against the Chiefs, what I truly think it is I think it's going to be which team is led to the slaughter in the AFC Championship. That's truly how I see it going. I mean, we said Chiefs Seahawks for literally the first episode, and I still feel comfortable sticking with that. Chiefs over Seahawks was what we said, and I feel comfortable with that.
And that wasn't us collectively agreeing. That was just what our individual picks were, and they happened to be the same.
We did pick individually, and yes, they were the same. That's a good qualifier. In terms of challenging the Chiefs, what's going to be the most interesting game? It is going to be kind of wacky. But if we're thinking about which team, all other circumstances out of the way, that's in the playoffs right now, would give the biggest problem to the Kansas City Chiefs, I got to say the Indianapolis Colts. I say if there's some miracle that the Colts make it into the AFC Championship, I would strongly consider picking picking the Colts over the Chiefs. The reason is their defense has been top tier, damn near elite all year. They have great ball control offense with the running game and a veteran quarterback like Phillip Rivers. The offensive line is good. I don't see them making any stupid mistakes, especially if they were on that scale. Now, there's probably a bunch of other teams that are more realistically going to face the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, but the Steelers we've talked about being inconsistent. Lamar Jackson we've talked about being inconsistent. We've talked about Josh Allen being questionable in the playoffs, and the only other team that leaves is the Browns, which I truly don't see that happening either, and then the Titans, who, oh yeah, the Chiefs beat in the AFC Championship last year. So I would feel pretty comfortable if I were a Chiefs fan, but if I had to pick a team that would give them the hardest matchup, I would pick the Colts. Let me pass it down to Nathan. Who's the biggest threat to the Packers and the Chiefs?
When I look at the NFC, you've got the Packers as the 1 seed, and you mentioned it with Seattle. We said it before. When they're on, they can play with anybody. But I look at the New Orleans Saints as maybe the most complete team in football. So if they show up and I think they can hang with anybody. We've seen them waver a little bit in the playoffs. Maybe Drew Brees lose a little pop on the ball, but
fucking see Drew Brees out in an open stadium and motherfuckers fucking flying away, dude.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. When I look at the AFC, I think you're overthinking it, Theo. I think we're seeing a different Josh Allen this year than we had last year. The Bills are playing out of their mind. They'd have won 10 straight to end the season if Kyler Murray didn't heave one up to DeAndre Hopkins. They'd have won 10 straight, and we'd probably look at him a little differently. So I think we're seeing a different Josh Allen. He's gotten a lot better every year. I think this team is for real. I think they would be able to hang with the Chiefs, might even beat them.
That is? Oh, yeah. So, how I see it is with the Packers, man, I honestly, I know I said Chiefs, Seattle, but man, it's really hard for me to think of a team that could beat the Packers. I think what can beat the Packers is a team that has a lot of playoff experience. I think that might come into factor, like the Saints or Seattle. Bringing over Carlos Dunlap for Seattle, I think that's huge. He had a lot of playoff experience. They didn't win much, but like they were in Cincinnati was in a lot of playoff games though. So I think that could be a tough one. I do think that Seattle might be their biggest factor, but I think the Rams. So I think that the Packers are very explosive on offense. They're very susceptible on defense. But I think the Rams defense is better than the Packers defense. So I think if the Rams can get it going, like we've seen the Rams like when Jared Goff could just easily throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like it's not that, like we've seen it happen more often than not. Like it's like there's games where the Rams, it just looks super fucking easy. Like they're like the king of chunk plays. Like they really are. Like they're so good at it. I think the Rams could be that team that could take off the Packers, to be completely honest, if they can survive Seattle, because I don't think the Bears will beat the Saints. So if Seattle loses to the Rams, you would see Rams and Packers in divisional. So that would be interesting to see. Especially cold coming to, or warm coming to cold, that's going to be a big factor as well. That's always a factor whenever, it's not like a huge factor, but it's a factor when you have to worry about being fucking cold and like getting hit in the cold. Just fucking sucks. With the Chiefs, man, I'm gonna say it. My biggest threat is the Bills. I think it's the Bills because there's that stat I showed you, Theo, and it's Mahomes is 9-0 against top 5 defenses, averaging 29 points. He's matchup proof against defenses. He really is. And what do you have? Travis Kelce, Demarcus Robinson, Tyreek Hill, Clyde. I'm pretty sure Clyde. He might not be there fully, but then we have Lev Bell and all that. So I think that's why I'm really wanting the Colts to beat the Bills. I secretly want the Colts to beat the Bills because I think we match up better against the Colts because I think our defense is our offense is matchup proof, and I think we can handle their defense or their offense. Our defense can. I'm not really too worried. The Titans could be a factor too. I'm not really worried about the Ravens, to be completely honest. The Browns, I'm not really worried about it. The run game scares me a little bit, but like still, they're very streaky at times as well. So, I think it's the Bills. Like they scare me the most. But I told myself, Theo, I told you like 5 weeks ago, I was like, I need to quit stressing out in the first quarter because the first quarter fucking scares me every fucking week. And then like the fact is that no team can no team has shown, for the most part, like you got to be able to contain us for 4 quarters. The Panthers are the perfect example. You did it great for 3 quarters, but then that second quarter screwed them. Like that second quarter or the third quarter fucking screwed them. So you got to be able to contain them all game, and I just don't see a team that can do it. So if I had to say it, it's the Bills is my biggest threat.
I just want to say one thing on the Chiefs. They had a couple rough or at least spotty offensive outings. You look at against the Panthers, against the Falcons. It didn't look
okay. Hold on. I'm gonna talk. No, I'm gonna no. Joe, hold on. I'm gonna say what I said to Theo about the Falcons. The fact of the matter is that game, it wasn't that. Yeah, our offense didn't play bad, but our defense showed that we can stop a top 5 offense. That's the fucking thing. People don't realize that, but Falcons were number 4 offense into that game. And the fact that our defense stopped a number 4 overall offense, I think that says more. That shows that we can win those games. The fact that we didn't lose the game because of our defense, which we normally do, and we stepped up and we held them to 14 points, and we won. Like I think people talk about the offense, but the fact is, every game that we have. Me and Theo always talk about it. It seems like we're gonna this and that. It's gonna fall short, but we're always in control of the whole game. The whole game. It may not seem like that, but it seems like we're always in control.
You had me up until that last part.
I think.
Well, it's like the Bucks game. The Bucks game. We went up fucking 24-0 or whatever, right? Or 24-7, and they were making their comeback. But we knew, like everybody just you told me this, Theo. You said that it seemed like the Bucks were going to make a comeback, but we were in control the whole game. That's what you told that me to my face because we were face to face.
Yeah, I'm with it in that instance, but to say the Chiefs are always in control in every game they play, that's not agreeable.
Well, okay.
They're never out of a game. I would never say like 6 minutes left, they're down by 14. I'm like, oh, well, fuck, the Chiefs are going to lose. I wouldn't say that ever against any team. But to say they're in control against in every game they play, that's just wrong.
What game were we not in control of? That's the question.
Texans playoff game.
That was out of control for a little bit there.
That was literally doomsday for like a quarter and a half, and then they were like,
but
oh yeah, okay, no, now we got it.
But we scored 24 points in 8 or 24 points in 8 minutes, something like that.
Because you weren't out of the game and your offense came back. You were not in control for that game.
We made plays. We didn't make plays. You're right. No, you're right. I mean, for the most part, though, when we were playing the games, we do have control for the most part. Okay, maybe I didn't say every game. Okay, you take it out of context when I say every. I get it. It's easy for you guys to do that. I get that. Anybody to do that. Anybody when you say when anybody says every, you take it out of context. I'm not just saying me, but for the most part, like we were in control for a lot of these games. Okay, let me say it that way.
Okay.
I'm just gonna finish my thought. The Chiefs, I don't think you can deny they had some less than Chiefs offensive outings.
Yeah.
And now they rested their guys week 17, and now they're on a bye. So I think we might end up seeing one of those patented Chiefs slow starts. I think we definitely will. And you look at the Bills, they're a team I don't necessarily see taking their foot off the gas. Obviously, they wouldn't see them until the AFC Championship game. But if they get up on them, the Bills can score and they can continue to score. They don't give a fuck. They're not gonna pack it in. So,
but that's gonna be a game out if that happens. If that happens, that's gonna be a game out from this quote unquote 2 weeks off.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something to watch.
No, it is, and that's why I said like I've told myself not to be worried about it, not to be worried. In the first quarter, because that's what Mahomes, he statistically, his worst quarter is the first and his best quarter is the second. So I don't know, it happens.
Well, with that, it sounds like we have a pretty good handle on what's coming up this weekend. Nathan, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on. You were
happy to be here.
Guest.
Happy playoffs, gents.
Very well prepared. Derek, I'll see you next week. And as we preview into the divisional round, let's preview next week. We're having young fantasy champion Peter Fish on next week. Great episode a couple weeks ago. Very much looking forward to that.
Hey.
And with that, signing off. All love.
Deuces.
Fuck your opinions.
Hey. Deuces.
Word.